Don't know what this building is. On the way down to the lake, it's in disrepair, understatement, and abandoned, so who knows. Restaurant, power station, don't know. Somewhere near there is a lake. There are pictures that suggest there are. This shows what I think has been the gradual decline in the water level of the lake. I'm guessing it's right behind us here. The lake. Saw some tadpoles or frogs jumping. Here you can see in the lake, I'll stop in a second to show them to you, clusters of what I think are probably tadpoles. And here, you'll see them all along the shore. But then out in the water, there are pods of them. There's one there. And there. See? What they're clustering for, I don't know. I don't see any signs on how to get out of here. A trail. I think I'll go down and see if it is. I know that my trail for going up to the falls was over to the left. And I know that various trails kept cutting this way to get to the left. This is obviously an old roadway. And it's going downhill, which is good, because I came uphill. And it's going in the direction off to the left, which is where I know my falls trail was. And since I'm on this side of the mountain, going down, so I never got to the top, I now have to be going towards Sofia. It's just a question of where in Sofia I'll end up. Ha ha ha. Recent activity on this trail that I can detect since the rains. That these are old logging roads also. Right, which I don't particularly like. Detect this is not a well-worn trail, if it's a trail at all. I did intercept this trail, and the path I was on, there was some evidence that a mountain biker or two came down through there. And I'm on this trail now. And I can hear a sound of work that was going on, I believe, right where I started up the hill. Right on target. What may be an old water line from the lake down to Sofia. For all I know, it may still be working. And here's a place I'm pretty darn positive I never passed on my trail up. I think what I've intersected is one of those trails that was going off of my trail to the lake itself. Lake, very few people up here. Encountered nobody on my, well, one person on my way down. My entry point right down there. And this is the trail I just came down. And that's the trail I went up. So, I lucked out, all ties together. I heard when I was going up, and the noise I heard as I started getting back down. Down there, you'll pass by this, what I think it's a septic system, walk up this long road. And it's at the very end at the entrance to Boyana Park is. Small square that you'll come to, and you take a left right where that gray car is, on the left side of that PFI with the blue awning, and continue on up that dirt road, or that long road. The name of where you're going, the Bojana Falls, in Bulgarian and in English. He will drop you off at this bus stop, which says 63 on it. And I walked across the street and asked the people there who didn't speak English, and they said, so I went down there, and in the, I think the last shop there on the left of those three that are in yellow, a man spoke very good English. And what he told me was, go back up here, turn left at the first street, which is that one there, go up to the end of it, turn left, and keep walking until you get to the little square that I'm about to show you. 3/4 to a mile hike up to where the park entrance is. You can stand here and wait for bus 107, and it'll take you up there. A little bit different definition. Number 2 is the altar. Number 1 is the nave. Number 3 is the inner narthex. Number 4 is the outer narthex. And number 5, Boyana Church, 13th century. So the grounds as we enter is very pretty. Calling it a park, so I'm assuming this is the church. Incredibly gracious and persistent old man. Worked very hard to try to give us a tour, but we really just wanted to see the frescoes, which were limited to about 8 minutes, or 10 minutes for 8 people. But at any rate, and he's very gracious and very knowledgeable. This half of it over here, probably that portion over there, about where those 2 arches are, was the original part. That was 11th century, I think. And then the donor added this second part that from there, the left side of that arch there over to here, at some later date, and painted over some of the frescoes. But the earliest of frescoes apparently predate Giotto, which would be 13th century. And if I remember correctly, Giotto was important for a couple of reasons. He was the bridge between old medieval art and the Renaissance art of Giotto and Ghiberti, in particular, focusing on the realism of the characters, their emotions and expressions, that sort of thing, as well as the single point perspective. Those are perhaps some of the most important frescoes in all of Europe, or the world for that matter, relating to the medieval period. Here lies Eleonora, the Queen of Bulgaria. Andrei Graber, who died in 1990, at 94. First publications on the Church of Boyana and on Byzantine art in Bulgaria. Apparently he was an eminent archaeologist from both France, the United States, and Bulgaria. I think I noticed, playing off of what he had explained to us, if I'm correct, is that many of the scenes were lifelike. In other words, the people were postured in such a way that it seemed like they were actually doing something rather than being posed into a rigid traditional pose. And 2, some of their expressions seemed to be reflecting actual emotions, as opposed to the rather strict, unemotional, iconic look of much of the art that came out of the medieval period that I think I saw in France. Very much the difference between photographs today, portraits, and the portraits taken 100 years ago that looked so rigid.